Alright, cool. We're back. Episode 2.
Yep.
UnFit Podcast. Let's jump straight into it. We're actually supposed to start way earlier.
Whose fault is that?
I think you know when you write in your CV that you actually punctual, time management skills on lock. I think I'm one of those guys who lie to employers.
You're definitely that guy.
And you know the person who always sets the time is the one that's always late.
Good point. So we should never let you set the time then.
Yeah, no, don't let me.
Must just give you a time.
Don't let me set the time, guys. But yeah, let's get it. UnFit Podcast, episode 2. We're back again. We actually haven't even uploaded episode 1, but it's in the cut. It's going to drop, and then obviously I think immediately after that we'll also put out. We'll do it like the way Drake does it. It's like a Lucy pack.
Yeah.
2 episodes up front. UnFit Podcast episode 2. I go by the name of Lefa, your MainGuy.
Thato with the facts.
Thato with the facts. We are missing one guy, but it doesn't matter because we are committed to you.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we could stop recording.
I thought you were saying something else. It's fine.
Nah, we are missing one guy, but it's fine. You and I can
Strong.
handle it.
Strong. Dynamic this week.
Just something I was thinking about actually yesterday. It's just like something I ran into, I think on Twitter. Yesterday was actually the COVID anniversary.
Really?
Yeah, last year, this time, the 5th of Feb, the 5th
March.
5th of March was the first case that was actually reported.
In South Africa.
Those bloody motherfuckers that went to Italy. It was actually the first case that was reported.
Damn.
So yeah, it's actually a lot has happened. I don't know, for you, what has changed since COVID?
Everything. I don't leave the house as much. Thank God. I don't like leaving the house, personally. So that's like a positive. Since you started on like a negative note,
For me, I mean, what has changed? Yeah. I think I'm grateful that like in terms of, I know a lot of people like in terms of income they've been impacted. So for me, I'm just like glad that in terms of like money, I mean everything's been the same for me.
Your money good.
But everything's been the same for me in terms of money. But like I just realized that we actually don't need a lot of shit. Like jeans. I mean I haven't worn my jeans.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I'm actually like the number one opponent of jeans. Like if I ruled the world right now, jeans would be banned. I'd delete them from existence.
Like I just realized that we don't
there's
need a lot of
just
shit.
literally no need.
Cars, jeans, shirts.
Okay, I don't know about cars. I mean,
all of that shit. Like I mean, how many times have we really used it? We were like indoors for like a year.
Yes, but it's nice to have. I don't think you want to sit in a bus with 50 people, especially right now.
That's true.
Especially right now.
So yeah, COVID anniversary. I mean, a lot of shit has happened. A lot of people have dealt with grief. So a lot of RIPs have been going around. But yeah, I don't know. I still think like we'll come out strong somewhere.
I feel like we're already stronger in a lot of ways, actually.
Yeah.
We're aware of like our weaknesses in our society as well. You know what I mean? Like where we were lacking. And who's most at risk and who's important as well. Like frontline workers, people who work at like shops, pick and pay, whatever. You appreciate them a lot more now because you realize
like the risk they had to take.
Yeah, the risk they had to take just to, just for you so you can get some food.
Just like one other thing that just got me thinking, we're about to go into local elections and shit like that. And obviously everything that, I mean, like, and I don't know if you're gonna vote, but I want to go try and vote. I want to go exercise my right to vote. But just thinking like now this whole thing and the way COVID has exposed a lot. I don't know if it's exposed a lot of shit we already knew that government has been mismanaging funds, misusing funds, but now it's been like highlighted on a even bigger platform when they were supposed to come through for us. I mean, they didn't come through for a lot of people.
That's true.
And a lot of people like faced hectic situations because all these apparent relief funds never really came through. But like now going into election season or local election season, do you think do you think a lot is gonna change now? Like, do you think we're gonna steer away from the current ruling party? Because I was thinking about this shit, but for me, it's almost like, yeah, sharp. I want to move away from them, right? But where do I go to?
That's what I was about to say. I don't think the opposition is still that strong. Like, it's one thing for us to be tired of the ruling party, but if the opposition is just not.
So basically, also like I just like started thinking about the way Americans do it. You know how we have like, I think we have like 200 parties or something like that, some crazy number like that. But the way like the Americans do it, they have Democrats and what's the other one? Republicans. Do you think it would actually be better if we also like stuck?
No, personally, no.
You think it'll still be
you can still be stuck with two choices that you don't like. Might actually be better to have like 200 choices and have like different viewpoints, and you can pick one that aligns most with you. I think it's the politician's job to make sure that they relay their message.
So basically,
well, I mean, no, you're not screwed. You can vote for what you believe in and still get the country you want.
Yeah, man. Anyways,
back to the hip hop, please. This was depressing.
I think it's only fair that we start out by giving Foca a shout out. I think he's the first South African guy to hit the Billboard charts.
Oh yeah. Big news.
Funny enough, like, I mean, you won't see it on our first episode because we never really touched on it. But last week when we shot on our way here, we spoke about like how, I think because it was our first time listening to the track that he did with Davido.
Yeah, the remix. Yeah.
I mean, we heard it on our way here, and I think we touched on the fact that how we created the sound as South Africans, which is piano, and it's dope and everything, but how we are actually going to need bigger African artists in order to put piano on the map. And a couple of days later, after we spoke about that, I mean, we didn't speak about it on the first episode, but a couple of days later, I mean, we see like that song hitting the Billboard. So it's quite interesting. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that with the system that or the way we playing the game at the moment with our piano sound, do you think that a Pori, a Kabza, a whoever, can take it to Billboard status? Or do you think we'll need a Burna, we'll need a Wizkid, we'll need a Davido?
I think we just needed like someone with a name behind it, because like it's one thing for like Pori's been overseas for a while right now, right? But he's not really like in the limelight like that. You know what I mean? Like he's not like vocalistic guy on the stage that you can actually see and relate to like that, like a Davido or a Burna would be. You know what I mean? It just needs to be attached to someone who can hopefully take advantage of it, and then maybe we can have like our outlet to put South African music on the map, because it only takes one guy, and he can put on other people as well.
Anyways, shout out to Foca, man. Anyways, parala.
Let's not go there.
I think Foca needs to take a break with the freestyles, dog. I think like Foca as well. Like Foca had the best year in COVID. Like that guy
That's true.
I mean, at some point, I think like his album was pushed back because of COVID and because everything was closed. And then I think the way the song Get Started just blew up. I think he was like, fuck it, let's just go in.
Yeah.
And then it really worked to his advantage, because even though South Africa was closed, other African countries weren't really closed, and then he could get booked like that side. So at some point I was reading on his timeline or whatever, like he was literally in and out South Africa for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
And he's had an incredible year, and it looks like he's made so much racks. But I think now it's a good time to take a breather and just let the music play, just make the music play, go out there, experience the world. Because here's another thing, right? And I think this is where the sophomore album curse gets people, right? And we all know that thing where someone has a dope debut, and then the sophomore is so flat, right? Because you spend you literally spend your entire life creating your debut, and by that I mean like you go everywhere, right? And you collect all these pieces, and then they all make the debut. So if you drop your debut when you're 18, you've been collecting that shit for 18 years. If you drop it when you're 30, you've been collecting that shit for 30 years, right? And the sophomore, and when it's time for your sophomore album, you expect it to kind of make something in a year. And I think that's where it actually goes bad, because you don't really have time. You now in this space where you are a star and you're expected to just get the hits coming, and you have to make something from, like, you spend like a year on the road, and then you also expected to record and stuff like that. So I really think, especially in Foca's case, something like a break is really needed.
So you're thinking he should take more time before he releases
Yeah,
another
I think let the music. I don't know. Have you even listened to his album?
I'm not a piano guy personally, so
I haven't
no,
listened
not so
to his
much.
album. I think I've only listened to 2 tracks, and those were the ones that actually dropped as singles. So those ones I know, but the actual album I haven't listened to. But I think it would be dope for him to take a step back, reflect, and just probably like he'll probably
Refresh.
still get refresh. He'll probably still get booked. I mean, from his album and from his singles, he could still like make a proper show. But I think he should take it like take a bit of a rest, especially with like the freestyles. Just enjoy life, man.
Especially with the freestyles.
Especially with the freestyles. I mean, he's younger than me. One thing for sure, he's got more racks than me. He's got cars, he's got bitches dialing him up. Just take a break and go eat the bitches up. You know, that's what I think personally. There's nothing wrong. I just think there's nothing wrong with a break sometimes, you know. You don't always have to try and be like top of mind, because as much as we always say staying top of mind is a good thing, but it can also be too much, because now you're just always trying to find the hit.
That is true. That is true.
So I mean, the recent freestyle that he dropped, I think just tells me one thing. You know,
Oof.
it's okay to take a break. I mean, for me, I personally think it also worked for guys like Casper. Casper released his album, then I think he took he released his debut album, which was a hit, right?
Yeah.
Then he released his sophomore album, which was a bit flat. And then
Compared to the debut, yes.
and then he took like a good break, and then he came back with Thato, which for me is probably his best work. So I really think. So I really think like sometimes like a break is needed. Like also a good time to open like other business avenues. I mean, you look at guys like Casper and the way they play the game. They're playing it, you know, for the long haul. Get endorsements, get whatever. There's many other ways to stay on top of people's minds. I don't know. I just think sometimes it's really good to take a break. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you.
And just ride the wave. Sometimes it's just ride the wave. I mean, with just that one song in his album and probably his EP, and the way he's always featured so much on other people's songs, I mean, you can only give us so many bars.
Are you saying the bars are running low?
Yeah, I think the bars are running low, and I think if you actually listen to a lot of the tracks, if like you listen to a lot of the tracks where he's featured and his own tracks, you get to pick up that he's actually repeating certain shit as well. So I really think sometimes break is needed, and this is not even specific to Foca. I think in general, like once you reach his height, right, you can let the songs carry. You don't need to always, you know, release like you are an unknown and you're just trying to, you know, get a hit.
I hear that. But there's also like the milk it as much as possible as well. I think that's why he's trying to be, you know, visible everywhere and do whatever he can, because, you know, you want to milk it while you're there. Because as much as everybody can get a great debut,
True.
You know, you don't know. You can take time off for your sophomore and still not deliver what you did with your debut, and then, you know, it becomes difficult now, you know. So I do think you do need to sort of take advantage of your opportunities while you're there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you that you do need to sometimes rest, and also like reinvent yourself, because
Yourself.
we don't want the second album to be the first album part 2. You know what I mean?
True.
So yeah, I don't know,
Because I think that the great thing about him was how, especially if you know him pre-piano, the great thing about him was how he was able to reinvent himself in this new South Africa of piano, right? Where piano was a thing, and how he was able to get on the track and still put in a bit of hip hop, a bit of rap in there, and still make it sound so beautiful, you know, and still get the people dancing, right?
That's true.
And I think that reinvention was so dope, but now I think he just needs to take a step back and be like, okay, now go back to the drawing board. Okay, now what else can I do? But other than that, I mean, the boy is mad sick. I mean, he's just like on top of the world.
He's too nice with it.
He's just like living life.
I think if there's one thing that he's shown us is that he can reinvent himself. So, you know, let's look forward to what he has to do after climbing the Billboard.
Yeah, no, that's true. But shout out to the guy. Billboard, I think it hit number 16 there. Yeah, man. I think we really proud. I mean, more so especially for me, you know, coming from the same hood as he comes from. We don't really have, I think, anybody bigger than him. So like it's very dope to see someone do that, and also like do it in his own way. You know, he didn't conform. He did it in his own way, and he can own that. So
that's true.
Shout out to Foca. But that last freestyle, that one must be sent to Zondo to just investigate.
Not my words.
That one must be investigated.
I'll tell you who else needs to take a break, though.
Yeah.
Drake. I knew you're not gonna like that, but he needs to take a break.
All right, let's hear.
He needs to take a break.
I mean, but he took a break for a while. When last did we get a Drake drop? Besides the Lucy's.
Last year.
But those were Lucy's. Those were just like.
That's what I'm saying, though. But he's not giving us a break.
Okay.
If you're giving us Lucy's, you're still giving us music.
Why do you say?
And we're gonna judge you on that music, and that music hasn't been great.
Why do you say Drake needs to take a break?
Because he just dropped 3 tracks and 2 of them are misses in my books.
The first one I didn't understand what was going on. I really don't want to know that you had sex on Valentine's Day.
We just confirmed that Drake is not a virgin.
That's all he told
me.
I really didn't want to know that he had sex on Valentine's Day. Do you even remember what you did on Valentine's Day?
No, I don't.
I really didn't want to know Drake had sex on Valentine's Day. So the first one for me will probably do well on radio.
I think it'll do well if it becomes a meme,
and it'll do well on
by
TikTok.
itself. Yeah, TikTok
memes, it'll do well on radio, it'll do well jokes. On TikTok, so it'll do like the normal Drake shit. I mean, a lot of people said the same shit probably with when what's that one that dropped? Two what's that shit that he dropped? 2C slide, what? Left side slide, right side, what? Some shit like that.
But that blew up because it became a viral meme. Yeah,
so that's why I'm saying that.
I'm saying is that what we expect from someone of Drake's stature, you know?
But doesn't Drake always start off like that? I mean, you used to call me on my cell phone, and everyone was like, "What's happening with Drake? He's gonna miss," and that became like a viral shit as well, right? And then he came with the album, and the album was fresh, you know. The album was nice. I think that's
I didn't like the album that much. For me, Drake has been on like a downwards slope since 2015, if you ask me, personally.
But I think, Thato, you a special case. Because I really don't...
I'm just stating my opinion.
Okay, Sharp. What's
on
rotation now? What's on rotation now?
Tell me something.
Playlist?
That doesn't matter. Tell me something.
does.
Tell me something, right? Which of Drake's albums that is released post If You're Reading This is better than If You're Reading This? Honestly speaking.
Wait, when did Nothing Was the Same?
Don't open your phone and check.
When did Nothing?
That was before If You're Reading This.
What happened?
Don't check your phone. If you're going to have to go check for your phone,
Nothing Was the Same,
then you're about to lie to us.
After Nothing Was the Same, what dropped?
After Nothing Was the Same was If You're Reading This.
Oh no, after If You're Reading This, what dropped?
Views.
And then after Views, what dropped?
What's it called?
Views wasn't bad. Views was nice.
That's exactly my point.
But
It
Views
wasn't
was
bad.
nice. I think Views is like a very like Views. Okay, Views for me. Views was nice. For me, I didn't. What came after Views? The Scorpion Kings. Scorpion what?
No, man, there was another one in between. You see, this is what I mean. He wasn't giving us a break either.
Scorpion one. I mean, I don't even go back to that shit. But I think Views was really good. I don't go back to Scorpion. Then he gave us like that Lucy pack or whatever. I mean, it's a Lucy. I'm not really gonna judge him off of a Lucy. He's just giving.
There was
us
something else before Scorpion.
But here's the thing about his Lucy's, anyways. That's other people's best work.
You see, you're comparing him to other people now. I'm telling you, he's on a downward slope. I'm comparing him with himself. I'm not gonna compare him
So
with.
you're saying ever since, if you're reading this, is too late, you haven't liked any of his shit.
I'm not saying I haven't liked any of his shit. I'm just saying that the quality of what he's been giving us has been dropping, and that is shown in that first track of his care package, whatever he calls it.
But I think that's how he really starts. Like everyone, every time he drops a single or whatever, everyone is like, I'm kind of not sure. Is this the Drake? I mean, that's what I'm saying. That let's go back. He dropped with Views. He dropped what's that? Call Me on My Cell Phone, whatever track that was. I think that was the single on high rotation at the time. With Scorpion, which one was the single? That song, man. Shit. That one, I think. No.
You're making my point for me right now. Your body language is making my point.
No, man.
Let me go check my files because I can't remember.
No, man.
Because it wasn't special.
Yeah, because
it was fun at the time, but
I'm saying,
is it memorable?
If you look at those tracks that he normally goes with as singles, you normally get a sense that I'm not sure this guy might actually be.
But I mean, okay, let's look at pre you're reading this, right? We can go back to what was this first one? Thank Me Later, right? We can remember your overs, you know. We can remember your mysteries, you know.
Yeah.
If we go to what was next?
I don't know them by order. But
yeah,
I mean,
but there was listen. I can't remember the name of the album right now for some other reason, but you can remember the model. Yes.
Yes, it had God's Plan. He had God's Plan on Scorpion. That shit was a hit. A hit.
Fair, but it's one song. Was the album great? Are you still playing the album?
Personally, I'm not playing the album.
Who is?
But I don't think the album was trash.
Listen, I never said he's trash. I said he's on a downward slope. There's a difference.
So you're saying from this 3-pack that he gave us, you're not in the least excited about Certified Lover Boy?
No. And his last 2 albums also. It's not just based on this. I don't base my opinions based on a single release. No.
I think anybody who doesn't like what Drake drops has a character flaw. Something is definitely wrong with
Yeah, I'm a flawed man. Nobody's perfect. It's all good. It's all good. Still don't like that shit.
Something is definitely wrong with you, nigga.
It's fine. And you guys, you Drake stars, you like doing this. You like shaming people for not liking Drake. You like bullying people. Fuck that.
I'm not a Drake stan.
It's ass.
I'm not a Drake stan, but I can say that the boy is fine. And I don't think I'm not sure if this one had
nobody's saying he's trash as an artist.
I'm not sure if this one.
Nobody's saying he's objective. We're saying he's dropping off.
Look, I'm not sure.
He had a good run.
Look, I'm not overly impressed with this 3-pack, and I'm
You're
not
defending
sure
him. You're defending him.
If
You're being soft. He's not listening. Say what you really mean.
You guys need to tell us what you guys think about Drake's 3-pack. But I really like his combo, like with the combo that he has with Rick Ross. I mean, immediately when I was listening to that shit and it got to track 3, immediately when that beat dropped, I was like, shit.
This is the one.
This is the one that's gonna bang.
This is what you were waiting for.
This is what I was waiting for. And I mean, they've had a lot of. I actually don't even understand why Drake, like when he did like a collabo, he always like did that collabo album shit with Future, because for me that never really worked. They just never merged.
It was just always gonna be a numbers game, and Future was doing numbers. Future was what was relevant. Trap was the big thing, and Future was the guy at the top of the trap game, so it just only made business sense. That's one thing I do respect about Drake, though.
Yeah,
He does move for the numbers.
He's strategic.
Yeah, he moves for the numbers, and he gets those numbers.
Except the only time when he's not strategic is when it has to do with girls. Drake doesn't strike. How can you hit a porn star? How can you hit a porn star and not strike?
She's a professional, bruv. What do you mean, how can you? She's a professional. She knows what she's doing.
I'm gonna take the pill, don't worry. I got a lot of high fork. Now, but I think it would be worth it if we saw something like a Ross and Drake, like
that I'll approve of. That I'll approve of.
And also,
I don't think they've actually dropped a bad track together. Like, it's
no misses.
No misses.
No,
on the
no
combination,
misses.
But Drake has a few misses.
No misses on the combo.
Yeah, on
now
the combo. On the combo,
we're just talking about the combo.
I'll give him that.
There's no misses on the combo, but so I think I'd really love to see like a full, like, you know, solid.
Well, not too long. Like, I don't want
maybe 7 tracks, 10 tracks.
Something
from them. Just, I mean, I didn't even realize, like, when Ross came on, I didn't realize how much I missed it. Like, I missed that luxury rap. There's just something. I mean, we all know Ross is a liar. Most of that shit ain't true. But there's just something about Ross, man. Like, he gives you this aesthetic, and you also feel like you like in a mansion, and you feel that silk, that Egyptian cotton, you know?
Yeah.
You just feel like you're there, and you've got tons of bitches around you, you know? I don't know why
Stuff
I
like
added
that.
the bitches. But like, bitches just...
I was about to say, like,
aesthetic.
yo, it's just...
Nah, bitches are complete aesthetic.
Everything's better with a sprinkle of bitches for left.
Everything is better with a sprinkle of bitches. That's just how it is. It's crazy though. I was watching MainGuy's podcast during the week, right? And
You didn't cancel him?
Huh?
You didn't cancel him?
No, I didn't cancel him. And you know why I didn't cancel him, right? Because I actually watched that episode, right?
Yeah.
I actually watched that episode and I went back twice to it, right? Just to try pinpoint, you know, where he went wrong. Yeah? And I don't know if you saw the clips or if you even watched the full thing, right?
I didn't watch the full thing.
You went and watched some of the clips.
I saw some of the clips on Twitter, and I wasn't like sure that it's something that, you know, you should be losing
cancel
sponsorships.
worthy.
You know,
That's
but then there's also another case to be made that apparently he got fired a few years earlier for something similar. Yeah.
But
so then it's like, ish,
that's his
bro,
thing.
like now it's looking like your MO. Now it's looking like your
his
thing. Yeah.
But I just think, like, when I went back and watched that shit, like, I just think, like, I mean, yes, if you know, it's like what, right? For me, it sounded very much similar to like a white guy talking about niggas or calling us niggas and shit like that. Like because you're not from that community, there's certain jokes you can't make about the community, right? And it's similar with MainGuy. He's not part of the alphabet gang, right? I don't know why I call them alphabet gang.
We might have to find out if they like that. Hopefully we don't get cancelled before we even start. But continue.
Like, I don't mean
continue
to be
with your point.
But because he's not part of that community, it can come across as very offensive. But if you actually go listen to the full thing, and here's another thing about listening or watching video clips or snippets online, right? People take snippets of what they found offensive, right? And then they put it up there like that. And as a person that's online, you're just watching that snippet. And that's why I made it a point to myself, right? To go back to the actual episode, right? And just listen to the whole thing and get context, right? Yes, there were a lot of tricky jokes that they made, right? But I don't think it was cancel worthy. And there were jokes that they made, but they did at the end, like, say, oh yeah, no, guys, we didn't really mean like that, etc., 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 etc.
Look, man, you can say you didn't mean it all you want, but if people's feelings are hurt, they're hurt, and that's that. And for me as well, like for me, like seeing it on the internet, because I don't listen to the podcast anyway, you know, it doesn't matter whether I make a judgment because I wasn't listening anyway, you know. So I don't need to cancel. I don't need to uncancel.
Yeah.
I don't need to, you know. For me, it was just like, hey, that's crazy. That's just my view on the world lately.
Yeah.
I just look at everyone and go, hey, that's crazy.
But anyways, back to what I was trying to say. I was watching his podcast during the weekend. He had what's that guy's name? He had Babes Wodumo there, right?
And that's another thing I've actually noticed. That since the controversy, he's traveling every week without fail.
Yeah, so now.
So is he really cancelled?
He's losing sponsors as well. Cancel culture is fickle, man.
But if he's doing numbers, then I mean.
Yeah, but I think he lost another sponsor or some shit like that. But anyways, that doesn't matter. So I was watching his podcast. I think Babes Wodumo was there, and she's still with Mambinja, right? But Mambinja wasn't on set. This was wild. This was crazy. Mambinja wasn't on set, right? That nigga kept calling so much, ne?
Like he was calling during the episode.
Yeah, and that girl like said that, ish, no man, ish, I have to answer this guy because then he's gonna think I'm shitty, right? And she answered, and one more there, I don't know, maybe I'm still on set with MainGuy or whatnot. That nigga just didn't believe her, right? And that girl had to take it to FaceTime just so that he could prove that he's actually still on set. He's actually still on set with MainGuy, right? Just to prove that I'm not lying. I'm still.
That is embarrassing.
I'm still on set and whatever. And it just got me thinking, like, working with your partner must be the hardest shit ever.
Yeah, but I mean, this is not a working with your partner thing. This is just.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's quite clear that guy is a psycho. He's got insecurities and shit like that. But it just got me thinking, like, working with your partner now, imagine, dog, like you working, even if it's a 9 to 5, if I'm working with my girlfriend, right, we stay together, then we're going to the same office, dog. Then we have to use, then obviously she's going to say, why waste petrol? Let's use one car. Then you have to have conversations in the car as well, dog. Shit must be so boring. Then you can't even have a work wife at the office. Yeah. Then go lunch. You guys must also have lunch together, dog. I know I'd be pissed, dog. There's no way. There's no way I would actually work with my partner, dog. There's no way. Or if we worked in the same office, I will make it a point that we're using separate cars. There's no fucking way.
So at least you can be in traffic alone.
Dog, at least I can breathe, dog. Because women have this thing, dog, where they don't want to let you breathe. They just don't want to let you breathe, dog. Like women, like, we love them, and we love our girlfriends, and I'm not saying that I don't love my girlfriend, man.
But you need to breathe.
Dog, sometimes, dog, I just want to breathe. Imagine, Joe. But Joe, you can't even play your trappy music, Joe, because you want
every day, it's also R&B.
Every day, or you have to have
some... every day.
Dog, or you have to have some serious conversation in the car. Have you ever felt that moment, like, before you get home, ne? Or when you get home, ne? I used to have this sometimes a lot when I still used to stay in Joburg and I knew my girlfriend was at my place. Like, I get back, I park, right? And I just sit.
I think everybody does. I think that's like a universal thing. Everybody does that.
Dog, for like a young 15 minutes. You prepare yourself, dog. And then once you come and you're like, Jesus, I accept anything today. And then you get in, then everything's fine. Dog, you can't even have that shit if you guys are traveling in the same car, dog. You can't even have that shit, dog. I just think, dog,
it's toxic.
I wouldn't be able to do that. Dog, sometimes niggas just want to breathe. That's all I gotta say. That shit. I know it was random, but
yeah, you went off on a tangent there.
It's just something that
Babes need to breathe. That's what she needs.
No, she did say, dog. She did say that sometimes, Joe, one of her biggest like regrets is that, you know, at the height of her career, you know, because niggas ruin everything, she got into a relationship. Like she wouldn't advise anybody who was popping as much as she was popping to be in a relationship, because that comes along with insecurities for your partner, especially if your partner's not mature enough, I guess, or mature enough to understand what's happening. I think so. But yeah, I mean, I just went off a tangent there. But yeah, I just think niggas just want to breathe sometimes.
And other niggas need to do better.
True, and other niggas need to do better. I think like looking at the way things are happening now, that shit with Euphonic and Fresh, and what's your take on this whole listing, this whole cancel? I guess it's also part of cancel culture to a certain degree. But like, what's your take on what's happening right now in terms of all of this stuff? Because for me, right, the way I see it, right, and I know it's always like guilty. I mean, innocent till proven otherwise, right?
In court, yes.
In court, but I think the way I approach this shit, right, it's almost like the same way that if a doctor was found guilty of something, until it's proven otherwise, the board will suspend their license or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing I feel about all this rape stuff and whatever. Like, we cancel you up until you can prove your innocence, and we shouldn't wait for the court to say you're guilty for us to cancel you. I don't know. I mean, look at as well, going into what's happening with T.I. and Tiny. I'm not sure
it's pretty much like the same kind of thing, where it's just like it's crazy parties. People are getting drunk. Some people are getting drugged, and they feel like they can't consent, and that's basically it. So now they're accusing him of like sex trafficking, basically. Yeah, him and Tiny, and he says he's never trafficked anything. Well, at least not sexually. Maybe drugs. So you can look him up for the drugs, but not for sex trafficking, please.
Not for sex trafficking.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I actually read, I don't know, I read of some stuff that they were actually trying to pay off the people that actually came forward and put up the claims. But now they're denying it, that the lawyers...
That is very suspect.
That they tried to approach them.
That is very suspect.
I mean, also another thing that's got me thinking with this whole, like, I don't want to call it a movement, or I don't want to call it like... But like, another thing that's got me thinking with everything that's happened now, because it seems like it's all of the stuff from the past, right? And that got me thinking that at some point in our lives as well, right? Probably, and what's considered to be violating a girl today, and what's considered to be rape. I mean, rape is rape, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What's considered to be violating a girl today, back then, might have been something that was acceptable. And I mean, there's no book and there's no rules on this shit. But I'm just saying, and I'm not giving niggas a pass of this shit. But I'm just thinking that it's actually wild when I'm thinking about how all of this shit seems to be stuff from way back then, right? And it has me thinking that shit, maybe at some point in my life as well, I probably violated a girl, and I thought that shit was acceptable.
It's difficult. It's not black and white, Like it's there's different boundaries for different things. Also, so at some point it's just like it's difficult, It's difficult to know. And now, like you see what the Fresh and Euphonic thing as well now. It becomes very tricky when the person themselves can't remember because they were drugged. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like now it becomes okay, were they knowingly drugging this person, or
but okay,
you know what I mean?
As a lawyer, because you studying to become a lawyer, right?
Now you're gonna put me on the spot.
We got a lawyer.
Now you're gonna put me on the spot. I'm not an A student, guys. Please don't take what I'm saying here as legal advice.
I also I just wonder, when you get a lawyer,
listen at own risk, please.
When you get a lawyer, do you worry that this person gets distinctions? Do they know the whole module?
Don't you? Like when you go to the doctor, don't you wonder how is this guy doing in medical school, man?
Did he get
don't you wonder?
What if What if you 50 like a 15 and 9 swearing? Get that other 50 that is not so sure about. But anyway,
I won't lie. I think that about like any profession that I come into contact with. Like if I'm talking to like a doctor, I'm thinking like, what were you like in school?
Yeah.
You know, if it's like a pharmacist, it's like
Like,
are you gonna prescribe me the right stuff, Maro?
do you know the whole textbook?
Do you know the whole
What
textbook?
What if the part that I'm dealing with is what you flunked?
You know, and there was actually this one time I was sick, right? And the doctor I went to actually went and told me that, you know what, after you told me your symptoms, I went home and I had to actually go make sure and recheck again. You know, like at that moment, it's like, it's worrying because it's like, wait a minute. So you're saying, you know what I mean? You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, at least, you know, you're willing to go back and check and make sure that, you know, now you're going to give me the right information.
Call a friend.
Call a friend. Talk to Google.
But anyways, but like as someone who's starting to become a lawyer, in fact, you're already a lawyer.
No.
Or you've already got your.
No, I'm a final year.
Oh, you're a final year. Now you're there.
That other one is something different.
All right. So as someone who's starting to become a lawyer, and just going back on that fresh and euphonic thing, and guys, understand, by no means are we saying we're trying to defend fresh and euphonic. I mean, for me, I still think those guys should be thrown into jail. There was actually something funny I saw where there was a video of Briggs. You know, Briggs is in jail for raping and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Where he was singing.
When he was singing, and someone commented, "Aris ball for 2 DJs to join the choir." So I died, Joe. But anyways, as someone who's studying law, and you see something like this, where the girl is saying, "I don't remember jack. I don't remember shit." But one thing I can say is that when I woke up, I knew something happened. And I think she also mentioned that they also spoke a bit about, you know, she was drunk, but they still went all the way and whatever.
Yeah.
If you are the girl's lawyer, or even if you're fresh and euphonics,
here's the thing.
Lawyer, how much weight does that have in court?
The thing with the court is it works with a presumption of innocence, right? And that's because you don't want someone in jail who doesn't belong in jail, because then you're just creating more problems. You know what I mean? Now you're moving an injustice onto this person who's innocent.
Yeah.
So the standard usually for finding someone guilty is you must prove, like, without any doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt. That's literally what it's called.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning there must be no seed of doubt in your head. Like, you must see this evidence in front of you and think, you know what, this nigga guilty, lock him up and throw away the keys. That's the standard. Now, the problem is with something like rape is you can't really prove it. You know what I mean? Like with a murder, you can prove that, okay, this person is dead.
Yeah.
This person was there around the time. Yeah. You know, these people had problems. There's a motive. You know what I mean? Like you can prove to be pretty sure that, okay, this is someone that killed the person.
Yeah.
Now with something like rape, and especially in like a situation where there's like drugs involved, is the one party maybe doesn't remember, or maybe both parties are drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it becomes very complicated to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, because now it also becomes a question of, did this guy also know that he was raping someone? You know, what was his capacity as well? Because he can also say that he was intoxicated and she took advantage of him.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it becomes very difficult to sort of satisfy the legal threshold, which is where the whole cancel culture comes in. It's like a different way to hold people accountable for their actions.
It's like, yes, according to the law, you are innocent.
Yes.
But we as the jury
find you
guilty, and for that we'll cut off any...
We feel like you've done some dodgy shit.
Yeah.
You know,
we'll put you in prison even though if you're not in prison in the physical sense.
Yeah, basically, it's like an alternative way to hold someone accountable, because there are niggas that are guilty, and we just can't prove they're guilty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what that is there for. Because like right now with the euphonic situation, right? I have like small bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But from the way it's sitting right now, we can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they're guilty, right? But we can sit down as people and look at their behavior and how they're acting as well. You know what I mean? And decide that, no, this is not
This is
acceptable.
some guilty shit.
This is,
Therefore,
yeah,
we're
this is
gonna
not
cancel
acceptable. We don't want
Especially
people
with
like
the way
you in our
Folic
society.
is acting, and apparently he went and forged some WhatsApp texts and shit like that. And I think it's so unfortunate because, like, I mean, Fresh has been quiet, right?
Apparently he hasn't. There's people saying that Fresh is doing stuff, but I don't know what Fresh is doing.
But
apparently Fresh is also up to no good.
Is it?
And also the thing with Fresh is not the first time he's being accused of, you know, violating the rights of a woman. So it's not. It starts to raise some eyebrows, and it's like, wait,
yeah,
DJ Fresh again.
And you know why I think Fresh is in a harder. I mean, they're both in shit, right? In terms of like work and brands and endorsements and probably getting gigs and shit like that, like in their workspace, right? I think they're probably in shit, right? But I think Fresh is in bigger shit because he's married. He's got kids. I think his eldest son is probably like, I don't know. I think his eldest son is probably over 16, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's also got a kid with Penny Leviane. So I think one or two of his kids are at a stage where, you know, they're probably on social media.
They understand what's going on.
Some certain shit, right? And he's married. If one goes home, we want it. He doesn't have to also fight the public. And then
which is probably why he's acting the way he's acting right now.
Yeah, and then have to go home and fight another battle, you know? Like, I'm just thinking as well, that guy's in so much shit. Like, he fights the public, then he has to go home. They show him side, what it is. You know? And then come when you need to sit your kids down and tell them, guys, I'm accused of XYZ. The very same, and I think he's got a daughter as well. The very same shit that you've been telling your kids that it's wrong, right? And then you turn and go be accused of that shit. Like, how do you go back and sit your kids down and be like, yo, guys, you know? So
it's tricky. It's a tricky situation.
Right now. It's
definitely.
Really
I can imagine it is.
Really,
I can imagine it is.
You might even find out that he's not even at home at the moment. Or the wife left and whatever. You know, it's. But yeah, I think the fact that it's not the first time Fresh comes up on that list is very telling. But yeah, I hope it gets sorted out. And I mean, like you said, it's very tricky to find them difficult because there's no dead body or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think also as a people, if we're gonna go ahead and cancel people, I think we must really, really cancel them. Because I'm just thinking, right?
I just think it should be like a personal decision, you know. You must decide for yourself. Don't decide based on people on Twitter saying this person must be cancelled. True, yeah. You must look at your morals and decide if this is someone you want to be in society.
Because our morals are not the same. Yeah.
Our morals are not the same. We don't draw our lines at the same places, you know. If you're okay with people raping people, then I guess own up to that you're that guy, you know. But if you don't, then be that guy. If you think he's guilty, then cancel him by all means, you know.
But
if you don't feel like he deserves to lose his gigs or whatever, you should still have the right to support him. At the end of the day, you're not a court of law. Nobody here has to be fair. You know what I mean? But the people on Twitter canceling you, they don't have to be fair. Only people that has to be fair is the judge.
With the way we've seen cancel culture, like, you know how in the beginning like, there's an uproar and we're canceling you, then a month later, weeks later, we still see you getting broke, we still see you getting cheesed. With the way everything is happening, or with what we've seen thus far with cancel culture, even if these guys are found innocent, do you think? I mean, to a certain extent, they've probably fumbled some bags, right?
Yeah.
But do you think though they will be really, really cancelled and lose everything?
I don't know if they'll lose everything, but they will lose a lot. I think as it stands, they'll definitely lose a lot right now with the way things are unfolding. Personally, you know.
Yeah, no, I really think as guys, we just need to do better, do right by women, you know. Yeah, no, because right now. I think we all need to tread carefully, you know, because also the thing about
I think it's
man,
also
is
about
that,
like educating ourselves as well. You know?
yeah. I think also like you only really think about it when it's someone in your space, and then you're like, oh shit, that's fucked up. Like if right now, right, I say, imagine if it was your sister, imagine if it was your girlfriend, imagine. That's when you actually think about it. And I'm saying we need to get out of that and just across the board, like make it about protecting our women and children.
Yeah.
And not imagine because niggas will be like, with my sister, I'm gonna kill somebody, but then turn around and go do the same shit to somebody else's sister.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think like it should just be about, we should get out of that state of thinking, hey, this is my sister, hey, this is my girlfriend, and that's when we only protect our women. We in general need to protect women. You know?
Yeah.
We really just need to do better. Anyways, lighter shit. AK and Cass
again,
them tweeting each other the other day.
I'm tired of that.
And I think we're really tired. Do you think that the
stop it, niggas? Y'all niggas 40. Stop it.
They just
stop
really
it.
They just need
stop
to.
it. No.
Do you think we even need that? Do you think we even need the fight?
No.
We really don't.
We don't care.
We really don't care. That's
we don't
it.
care. Stop it.
We really.
You both got kids now. I mean, how does your kid feel? Hi, Joe.
What would be so?
Imagine tell me how Joe busy Joe.
What would be so fucked up? What would be so fucked up is if Cass's child Joe, in the end Joe,
oh my goodness. Just you to take it there. Just you to take it there.
That'd be so fucked up, dog. That, like, you know how the world is? That'd be so fucked up if, like, in the end, Casper, you know, the Casper, by long time I had to go cage. That'd be... Nah, dog, that would be really fucked up, dog. Just quickly before we wrap up as well, Soulja Boy and Randy Orton.
Oh, that was hilarious. I actually want to see that. Like, I stopped watching WWE like a long time ago, probably like around high school, you know. But for Soulja Boy and Randy Orton fight, I'm there.
So
I'm there for
just for some context,
for the pure entertainment.
For those that don't know what went down there.
So basically, Soulja Boy tweeted something about the rap game being faker than the WWE.
Yeah.
Right? And then
WWE being faker than...
No, he said rappers is faker than WWE.
Oh, okay.
Right? So Randy Orton took offense. So are you saying WWE is fake?
At the bottom,
yeah, you know. No, but he's just saying that rap is worse.
Yeah.
But still, WWE is fake.
On the floor,
yeah. So he's like, you know what? Come through and we'll show you what's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Square up.
And Soulja, did they say, the Soulja Boy say he's gonna go there?
He's saying he will, but I don't think he will. I'd like to see him go. I'd like to see him go.
Shit.
Imagine. This would be like peak 2000s WWE. You remember how dramatic that shit was, man? Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah, no, that shit was crazy. I actually found myself like, what was I watching? I think I saw it on TV and I decided to watch it a bit. And I was like, shit, this, no, actually like, and it was like, so nostalgic for me. I think on TV they had like Goldberg. They were doing some reruns of Goldberg, and there was like a docu-series. It's like like a 3-part docu about.
I saw they're doing one about The Undertaker as well. I think I caught a bit of that one.
Yeah, and like for me that was so nostalgic that we used to like really love that shit. And right now
we thought it was real as well, but it was actually hilarious. But like looking back on it now, it's actually pretty funny because I'd probably watch it again. Because like
stuff, not
like the older stuff, like the dramatic stuff. Yeah. Some of it, a lot of it was offensive. I saw like a Twitter thread like maybe 2-3 weeks ago of like, you know, like all the stuff that they'd be cancelled for today that they used to do. It was hilarious. It was just like, okay, yeah, this wouldn't be allowed on TV today, but this was actually pretty cool, you know.
So we'd rather see the Randy Soulja Boy versus
only for the drama.
Yeah, only for the drama, not the Cass and AK fight.
Nah. We're tired of that.
We don't want that shit.
We don't want to see 40-year-olds fighting, please.
Anyways, I think that's us. Episode 2 done, dusted, wrapped
up.
You.
Peace
subscribe.
out.
What's that? How does that
like, subscribe.
Turn
on the notifications comment, if you like it that much.
Turn on the notifications.
Give us money. Whatever you do, just show love.
Yeah, hey man, we need a mixer. So give us some money. We'd really appreciate that.
You
We
don't
need a
need to
mixer.
say what it's for. Just say we need money.
But they must know it's for the podcast. So they mustn't know we're wasting it on bitches.
We just want money, okay?
UnFit episode 2 delivered to you. Boom. We appreciate it. We're coming to you. We're gonna remain consistent with this shit, like I said in the very first episode. So yeah, thanks.
We out.